Michael Shikha Niketan Higher Secondary Government Sponsored Co-ed English Medium School has taken an excellent initiative of teaching and make our students learn day-to-day lessons through audio and video in our YouTube channel. Teachers of all the subjects are working hard to enhance these online classes in the midst of this pandemic situation. It is a request to all the teachers, students and guardians to click the bell icon and subscribe our channel.
Topic is the application of electricity and chemical reactions, that is the process electrolysis. The first application we have to learn here, that is metal extraction, and according to our syllabus we have to study here the extraction process of aluminium. Okay, as we know from our previous conception that the metals which are at the higher position of the electrochemical series, that is like sodium, like aluminium, like potassium, we have to use their electrolysis process, and here we are learning the extraction of aluminium. So as the electrolyte we have to take a mixture of pure alumina, that is Al2O3, with cryolite, that is AlF3.3NaF, and fluorspar, that is CaF2, in the ratio of 1:3:1. Okay, this is very important because the melting point of pure alumina is greater than 2000 degrees Celsius. So to lower the value of this melting point, we have to add cryolite and fluorspar. Okay, so if we mix cryolite and fluorspar, we can see that the temperature will be 950 degrees Celsius. Okay, so to lower the melting point of pure alumina, we have to mix cryolite and fluorspar in the ratio of 3:1. If we take one part of the alumina, then we have to take 3 parts of the cryolite and 1 part of the fluorspar. Next, the important thing is electrode. The process is carried out in a iron tank, which inner wall is coated with carbon layer. Okay, so this carbon layer is actually act as the cathode of the whole process. Okay, and we have to set some hard rod of carbon which will act as the anode. So here the iron tank we have to take to carry out the process, whose inner wall will be layered by a carbon coat, and the layer will act as the cathode, and hard rod of carbon will act as the anode. Okay, and the Al2O3, that is alumina, will dissociate in this way. Okay, aluminium is tri-positive in nature, that is aluminium 3+. Okay, we have 2 aluminium atoms here, so that's why I have written 2Al3+ and 3O2-, that is oxygen is di-negative in nature, so 2-, each oxygen 2-. So there are 3 oxygen atoms, so 3O2-. Okay, next as well as we know that aluminium will move towards the cathode as it is a cation. So Al3+ will consume 3 electrons in the cathode, forming aluminium metal, and oxygen 2- will move towards the anode, and it will reject 2 electrons, forming oxygen atom, and combining with another oxygen atom it will form oxygen molecule. So finally we can get aluminium metal in the cathode, and obviously at this high temperature aluminium will be in molten state. So we have to collect aluminium from the iron tank in molten state. Okay, and in the cathode, in the anode we can get oxygen gas. So I am repeating the metal extraction process here. First of all, we have to take the electrolyte as pure alumina, cryolite and fluorspar in 1:3:1 ratio. The temperature will be 950 degrees Celsius, because to lower the melting point of alumina, that is 2050 degrees Celsius, we have to add these 2 things, that is cryolite and fluorspar. And the whole process is carried out in a iron tank, which will be coated with a carbon layer. So that carbon layer will act as the cathode in the process, and we have to set a hard rod of carbon which will act as the anode. In the whole process, alumina will dissociate as 2Al3 plus and 3O2 minus. All the aluminium cation will move towards the cathode, forming aluminium metal, and all the oxide anion will move towards the anode, and obviously it will reject 2 electrons. Combining two oxygen atom will form oxygen gas. Okay, this is a metal extraction process. And apart from aluminium, we can get sodium, potassium, and all the metals which are placed in the higher position of the electrochemical series from the electrolysis process. Now, according to our syllabus, the next application is electro-refining of the copper. Okay, electro-refining of the copper, in this case we have to take acidified copper sulfate solution as the electrolyte. Okay, and as the acid we can take sulfuric acid here. Okay, sulfuric acid, water, and copper sulfate. Actually we have three components in the voltmeter ultimately. And as cathode we use pure strip of copper. We can use pure strip of copper or pure wire which is made up of pure copper. Okay, the cathode will be copper, but it will be in pure state. Okay, and the anode will be copper blocks, but the copper will be in impure state here. Okay, so we have to remember this very carefully, that cathode will be pure copper and anode will be impure copper blocks. Okay, large blocks of impure copper will be taken as the anode. Now, if we observe the dissociation of the whole process, we can see that copper sulfate will dissociate, forming copper 2 plus ion and sulfate anion, and H2SO4 will dissociate as the 2H plus ion and sulfate ion, and water will be dissociate as H plus and OH minus ions. Okay, the whole process will be continued in the 50 degree Celsius temperature. Now, here we have two types of cations. Okay, one is copper 2 plus, another one is H plus. Now, in between H plus and copper 2 plus, as we know that the H plus ion is more electropositive in nature with respect to the copper 2 plus ion. So, all the copper 2 plus ion from CuSO4 will move towards the cathode, accepting 2 electrons, forming copper metal in the cathode. Okay, and we have two types of anions also. Okay, one is sulfate anion, another one is hydroxyl anion. But like the previous one, both the anions have more ionization potential value with respect to the copper metal itself. So, none of them will move towards the anode, but from the anode we have taken the impure copper blocks at anode. So, from the anode we can get copper metal rejecting 2 electrons, forming copper 2 plus ions, and it will participate in the next process. That means this Cu2 plus will further move towards the cathode, forming copper metal. So, ultimately this is the refining process. That means if we take impure copper, ultimately this process will make this impure copper into pure copper, and applying this process we can get up to 99.99% purified copper. Okay, this is the efficiency of this process. So, I am repeating again for this process that we have to take acidified copper sulfate solution, and copper sulfate, sulfuric acid and water will be present in the voltmeter, and here is the dissociation of the components, and the process will be continued in 50 degree Celsius temperature. Pure copper strip or pure copper wire we have to take as the cathode. Impure copper blocks will be at the anode, and at the cathode copper 2 plus will accept electrons, forming copper metal, as the H plus ion is more electropositive with respect to the copper. So, it will remain as H plus, and copper 2 plus will accept electrons, and as we know the discharge potential value of sulphate and hydroxyl ion is more with respect to the ionization potential value of copper, and that's why from the copper blocks copper will reject 2 electrons and will form copper 2 plus ion and goes into the solution for further reduction process. Okay, so by this process we can get pure copper as much as 99.9% pure, and all this pure copper will be deposited over the cathode. Okay, we can get this pure copper from the cathode. So that's why this is electro refining process. Now I am starting the last application point, that is electroplating. Okay, using the process electrolysis we can apply it in the field of electroplating. Okay, one main thing I am mentioning at the beginning, that for electroplating we have to take one article which is to be electroplated, it should be placed as the cathode, and the metal by which the cover will be given over the article will be taken as the anode. Okay, suppose if we want to cover suppose an iron spoon, if we want to give a gold plating over the iron spoon, so then we have to take a pure gold strip or a pure gold plate at the anode. Okay, it should be pure, and over which utensil or which article we want to plating, that is if we consider here an iron spoon, the spoon will be taken as the cathode, and we have to take a solution, an electrolyte, that is potassium orocyanide. Okay, solution of potassium orocyanide will be taken as the electrolyte in this method. So from this electrolyte we can get aurum ion, that is Au plus. Au plus will accept one electron and will form aurum metal, and this whole process will happen at the cathode, as this is the place for reduction. And as we know that aurum metal, pure aurum metal, it will consume one electron forming the pure aurum metal, and this reaction will take place at the anode. Okay, and ultimately this coating which will be generated over this iron spoon, and finally when we get the product we can see that a pure fine gold plating has been done over the iron spoon. Okay, so I am repeating again that for electroplating, the article which is to be electroplated will have to take as the cathode, and the metal which is to be electroplated over the article, it will be taken as the anode. Suppose if we want to if we want to do the gold plating over a iron spoon, then we have to take the iron spoon as the cathode and pure gold plate or pure gold strip as the anode. Okay, and the electrolyte would be the potassium orocyanide solution, that is KAuCN2, and cathode reaction will be Au plus will accept one electron and forming aurum metal, and at the anode as we know that oxidation will take place, that this aurum metal will reject one electron forming Au plus ion. And similarly, if we want to do the silver plating over the iron spoon, then we have to take potassium argentocyanide, that is KAgCN2 as the electrolyte, and in the cathode we have to take the iron spoon or anything which is to be electroplated, we can take as the cathode. But as we want to do the silver plating, so here also we have to take the pure silver plate. Okay, this silver plate should be made up of pure silver strip or plate, we can take here as the anode, and at the cathode reduction will take place, that is Ag plus formed from this electrolyte will consume one electron forming silver metal, and this silver metal will deposit over the iron spoon forming a coating of silver over the spoon, and at the anode oxidation will take place, there silver metal will reject one one electron forming Ag plus ion. So this is the whole thing, whole application of the process. We have learned already the electro-refining process, then metal extraction process, and the last application was electroplating. Here I am discussing some important questions, only some important questions related to the chapter, and you have to go through the whole textbook properly line by line, then you can easily answer the questions. You will get in your test paper or any question bank. Okay, the first question is, if nickel is to be coated over an iron spoon, what should be the electrolyte? Okay, if we want to give a coating of nickel over an iron spoon, then we have to take nickel sulfate solution. Okay, NiSO4 solution we have to take as the electrolyte here. Okay, if we want to coat the iron spoon with nickel. The next question is, in what condition should be electrolyte for conducting electricity? I have told it repeatedly that the electrolyte should be in molten state or in solution state, because in solid state any kind of electrolyte cannot conduct electricity. So the electrolyte must be in solution state or in molten state to conduct electricity. Okay. So you can mention it giving points, that number 1 point is it should be molten, it should be in molten state, and number 2 it should be in solution state. Okay. Next thing is, only direct current is to be used during electroplating. Why? That is we should use, that is we can use only DC, that is direct current, for electroplating. We can't use alternate current, because when electroplating is continuing, if we use AC, that is alternative type of current, it can cause polarization. When the product is gaseous in nature, producing at the anode, then polarization may take place. So the process will be hampered here. Okay, if we use AC type of current. And number 2 problem is, the coating will be not uniform. Okay, so to make it uniform coating, we should use direct current. So here we can use giving points. Number 1 should be when the product is gaseous in nature, then polarization may take place when we are using direct current. When we are using alternative current. And number 2 is, if we use alternate current, then the plating would not be uniform in nature. So to avoid these 2 problems, we should use direct current. Okay. Next question is, which one is better conductor of electricity, dilute H2SO4 or concentrate H2SO4? As we know that more diluted the electrolyte, more ion it can produce. So dilute H2SO4 can produce more number of ions, and more number of ions can conduct more electricity with respect to the concentrate H2SO4. So dilute H2SO4 is the better conductor here. Next is, during electrolysis of water, why acidified water is to be taken as electrolyte? I have mentioned before that for electrolysis of water, as electrolyte we have to take acidified water, because pure water cannot conduct electricity. It is not a good conductor of electricity. So we have to add any kind of electrolytes. It is not necessary to add acid always. We can also add any kind of base or any kind of salt solution too, but generally for availability we use acidified water to make it conductor of electricity. Okay. And next thing is, write the electrode reactions taken place during the electrolysis of copper sulfate using copper electrode. Okay, electrode reactions means we have to mention both the cathode reaction, the anode reaction and the overall reaction. If there are these 3 types of reactions in your book, then you have to write both the 3 reactions, that is overall reaction, cathode reaction, anode reaction. Generally if the question is write the electrode reaction, then we have to mention the anode reaction and the cathode reaction. Okay. Now, if we use copper electrode for the electrolysis of copper sulfate solution, so the anode reaction will be then copper, it will form Cu2 plus and 2 electrons, and at cathode the Cu2 plus will consume 2 electrons forming copper metal. Okay. This should be in your mind that oxidation always will take place at the anode and reduction will always take place at the cathode. And as we know that consumption of electron means reduction and rejection of electron means oxidation. Okay. And the last question is which type of reaction takes place at the cathode during electrolysis. Okay. Now, this is a short question type. As I told before that in cathode always reduction takes place. Okay. And if the question was anode, then it would be oxidation. Oxidation always takes place at the anode and reduction always takes place at the cathode. More questions, more short questions or broad questions from the test paper or any other question bank. And to solve the questions, to answer the questions, first of all you have to go through the book properly, line by line, then every questions you can attempt. So this is the whole chapter and the related questions.
Thanks for watching. Leave a like and comment. Subscribe. And do share the video among your friends.